Hello, on this video I'm going to show you how to use C++ to pass a stack to a function, both as a reference and also as a value parameter. So let's take a look on some code now. So first we need to create a stack, and for that I need to include the stack, and now we can create a stack. To create a stack, I'm going to type stack, and then between the angle brackets I'm going to type the data type of the stack. In my case it's going to be an integer, and then I'm going to name it my stack. And now I'm going to insert some values in the stack. So for that I'm going to use the myStack.push, and I'm going to push the value 0 and then 1 and 2, 3, and 4. So that's one way to push values to the stack, but instead of doing that, I'm going to write a for loop, and on the for loop I'm going to use the index of the loop to push values into the stack. Now by doing so, I can insert as many values as I want just by changing the upper boundary right here of the for loop. But in this case here, I'm just inserting values from 0 to 4. Alright, so now I want to call a function and pass this stack as a parameter. So let's create the function first. The first function is going to pass as value, or pass as a copy. So I'm going to create a void function, and this void function is going to be called do something. And then here I'm going to pass the stack. So in this case it's going to be a stack of integers. So stack of integers. So this is my function prototype. And then after the main I can do the implementation. So here is this function. I'm just gonna display all values, and for that I'm gonna create a while loop, and while the stack is not empty, then I'm going to display the top, and then after display the top I'm going to pop a value, otherwise this is going to run forever. And before I run this, I'm going to put a space so the numbers are not all together. So I'm going to run this program now, and when I run, it displays 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. So this is how you pass the stack to a function by value. So, and I mean it by value because right after I call this, if I display the length of the stack, I am going to have 5. So let me just put a end line here, so it displays on a different line. So run this program again, and the function display all the elements of the stack, and the only way to display all the values is to display the top and then pop a value. That means before that function was over, the size of the stack is 0. But then once you go back to the main, the size of the stack is 5. So this is because when you call the function like that, you're calling as a value and not as a reference. In other words, no matter what you do with the stack here inside this function, the original stack does not get changed. That's because I'm passing as a value. Now, if I want to pass this as a reference, then instead of passing a copy of the stack, I would be passing a address to the original stack. And if that's the case, anything you do with the stack inside the function is changed permanently in the stack. So in order to pass as a reference, I'm going to add the ampersand sign here. And then right here on the function implementation, I need to also add the ampersand sign. So by doing so, now instead of passing a copy of the myStack to the do something function, I'm passing the address of this stack, and therefore whatever you change here is actually changed on the stack. Now, last time we ran this program, whenever this row here ran, it displayed 5. I'm going to run this again, and then it displays 0. It displays 0 because the original stack got changed because I passed this as a reference. Let's write another function that returns a stack. I'm going to remove the reference here. So now it's passing by value, and now I want to return a stack. So if I want to return a stack, then the returning type cannot be void. It has to be the stack that you are returning. So let's say I want to return a stack of integer in this case. However, you can return a stack of chars or strings or anything you want to return. So here I need to change to stack of integer as a returning type. And then finally, I need to return something here. I need to return a stack of integers here. Instead of doing any work here on the original stack, I can just create a new stack, and then I can push some numbers, 100 and 110, and then I can return them. Obviously, in this case here, the stack that you're passing as a parameter is not doing anything here, but it could be on a loop or just display the stack size or do anything, right? This is just a code segment to show you that you can receive a stack and also you can return a stack. So right here on the top, when you call the function, you're passing a stack as a parameter, and the function is returning a stack. So because it's returning stack, you need to save that stack on a new stack or whatever name you want to name, and then you can do something with it. In this case here, I'm just going to print everything. So now I run this program and just displays the 100 and the 500. The 5 is the length of the stack that it prints here on the do something function. All right, so the last thing I want to show you here is that instead of declaring a new stack, I can just reuse the same stack name that I had before. So instead of creating a new stack here, I'm just going to reuse the same stack that I created before. And obviously I need to update these 2 values here, or 3 values rather. And now when I call the do something function and I pass my stack as a parameter, it does something to my stack. It doesn't matter what it does, but what it matters is that it creates a new stack and then returns that stack. And once it returns that stack gets saved on the my stack, which was created here on the main. So in other words, you can reuse the name, but just beware that whatever that values you had before line 20 here is all erased, and then the new values of whatever this function returns will be set to my stack. So that works just as fine. So I'm going to run this program. And then here we have the 5 and then the 110 and the 100, which are the values that were created right here in the do something and that got returned when you call the function. So let me zoom out here a little bit just to show you the entire code before I end this video, in case if you want to compare your code to mine. And there it is. And with that, that's all for this video. Thanks for watching.